Your blog post titled "Everything You Need to Know About Plumbing" is never getting cited by ChatGPT. Or that page on your law firm site called "Our Approach to Family Law." Or the one on your HVAC website titled "Why Choose Us?" I'll tell you why. They're not specific enough. They're not structured the way an AI actually reads a page. And they're competing with about 10 million other generic pages written by people doing the exact same thing you are. AEO, Answer Engine Optimization, is a completely different game than SEO. And if you're trying to use the same content playbook from 2018 to win in 2026, you're going to lose. Hi there, it's Adrian Newman from Numero Uno Web Solutions. And in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to give you 7 specific rules for writing single web pages that AI engines like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or Perplexity will actually pull from and cite as a source. This isn't theory, it's not vague advice. These are the actual mechanics, how the page needs to be built. Whether you're a plumber or a lawyer or a dental clinic or a home services company or anything in between, these rules apply. And I want you to stick around to the end because there's one thing I learned about how these AI models work that completely changed how my team writes every single page now. So let's go. So here's the first thing you need to wrap your head around. AEO content needs to be way more specific than SEO content ever was. So the old SEO playbook was you write a 2,000-word article called "Everything You Need to Know About Furnace Repair." You stuff in some keywords, you build some backlinks, you wait 6 months, and then you watch it climb the rankings. Well, that's dead. That game's over because answer engines don't reward generic. They reward specific. And when someone asks ChatGPT, "My furnace is short cycling in my 1970s Toronto bungalow, what do I do?" Well, it's not going to pull from your generic furnace repair guide. It's going to pull from the page that says exactly that. Furnace short cycling, older Toronto homes, specific. So before we even talk about the 7 writing rules, you need to get your topic right. Niche down. Pick the specific situation. Pick the location, if it makes sense. Pick the specific use case. A plumber in Toronto isn't writing about plumbing tips. They're writing about what to do when your basement floor drains back up after a heavy rain. Or a family lawyer isn't writing about divorce law in Ontario. They're writing about how to handle the matrimonial home in an Ontario divorce when only one spouse is on the deed. An electrician isn't writing about electrical safety. They're writing about why your breaker keeps tripping when you run the dryer in a home built in the 60s. That's the level of specificity that we're talking about. Real situations, real questions, real customers. Okay, so once you got that right, here are the 7 rules. I'm going to walk you through them in the order that actually makes the most sense if you're sitting down to write a page right now. Rule number 1, don't bury the lead. The primary question your page is answering, the actual answer, needs to be in the first sentence of that page. Not the second paragraph, not after a personal story about your grandmother, not after 3 paragraphs of context, the first sentence. And here's why. AI models scan for the answer. If they don't find it in the first 100 words or so, they're going to move on to a different source. They're impatient. So give them what they came for immediately. I want you to look at this. Same topic, 2 completely different openings. The one on the left is what most lawyers would write. Slow build, establish credibility, get to the point eventually. The one on the right answers the question in a single sentence and then gives you the context underneath. AI doesn't reward beautiful prose. It rewards extractable answers. Lead with the answer every single time. Rule number 2, add structure everywhere. So here's the truth about how AI models read your page. They're lazy, brutally lazy. They don't read top to bottom like a human would. They scan for chunks, headers, bullet points, tables, quick summary sections. If your page is a wall of text, like 500 words per paragraph, and no headers, no breaks, they won't bother. They'll go find a page that's easier to extract from. Take a plumber writing about emergency frozen pipe repair. The wall of text version buries everything. The structured version has a header for signs your pipes are frozen, a bulleted list of warning signs, a header for what to do in the first 10 minutes, another bulleted list, and a small table comparing DIY fixes versus when you absolutely need to call a pro. It's the same information, but a completely different outcome. The structured version gets cited because every section can be pulled out and used as a standalone answer. So use H2 and H3 headers, use bullet lists when you have 3 or more items, use tables for comparisons in every section, and I mean every single section should make sense on its own, even if someone only reads that one chunk, which leads me to rule number 3. So rule 3, after you've put the answer first and added structure, every section needs 2 or 3 paragraphs of actual context. Those are examples. Those are definitions. Those are specifics. Why? Well, because here's something most people writing for AI don't understand. And I'll come back to this at the end of the video because it's huge. But AI models don't read your whole page. They grab a few paragraphs, sometimes maybe just one. So every chunk needs to make sense without the rest of the page around it. That means if you've got a section called "How much does a roof replacement cost in Mississauga?" you can't just write one sentence and move on. You need to give price range, explain what affects the cost, like roof size, materials, slope, accessibility. Give an example of a typical case and define any terms your customer might not know, like underlayment or roof decking, all in that one section, because that section might get pulled out completely on its own. Quick gut check you can do right now. Open one of your existing blog posts. I want you to pick a random section in the middle. Pretend that's the only thing someone is going to read. Does it actually answer the question on its own? Or does it require 3 paragraphs above it to make sense? If it requires context that isn't there, that section is probably going to be invisible to AI, so you're going to want to rewrite it. Rule 4, every page needs an FAQ section at the bottom. And here's why this works so well. Answer engines are conversational. People don't just ask one question and stop. They usually ask follow-ups, like how much does it cost? Then how long does it last? Then what's the difference between this and that? Your main page covers the big question. Your FAQ section is going to cover all the specific sub-questions your audience is actually asking. And that's where AI pulls a lot of its citations from, because each question and answer pair is a self-contained chunk. It's easy to extract and it's easy to cite. And here's the trick. Don't make up the questions. Don't sit in a room and guess. I want you to go to your sales calls or your support emails, or even go to Reddit and Quora. Heck, go to the People Also Ask section on Google and find the actual questions your customers are asking in their words and answer those. A roofing company in Vaughan shouldn't have an FAQ section that says, what is a roof? Nobody asks that. They should have one that says, how do I know if I need a full roof replacement or just a repair? Or will my home insurance cover storm damage to my roof in Richmond Hill? Real questions, real language. Oh, and by the way, if you're getting value from this so far, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'm putting out videos like this one every week. Okay, back to it. Rule number 5, and this is where most people writing for AEO completely fall apart. Include original insights. That's original data, original quotes, original research, something nobody else on the internet has. And here's why this matters more than anything else. AI models are reading the entire internet. So if your content is just a remix of what's already out there, they don't need you. They've already pulled that information from 1,000 other sources, and you're just noise. But the moment you bring net new information to the table, a stat from your own client work, a finding from a survey you ran, a quote from your own experience that nobody else can give, well, that gets pulled into the citations because suddenly you're a primary source. A page with a single original stat or insight massively outranks a page that just rehashes what everyone else has already said every time. Okay, rule 6. And this one is missed so often that it's painful. And that is connect every single point back to your product or service explicitly. If you don't make this connection, the AI isn't going to make it for you. Here's what I see all the time. A business writes a great informational page, helpful tips, useful insights. Then, the very bottom, tiny line that says, contact us for more information. That's it. The AI reads that page, pulls the helpful information, and never connects you to the solution. So take that roofing company again. Bad version writes a generic page about 5 signs your roof needs replacement. 5 tips, generic, helpful, but it's done. The AI summarizes the tips and recommends a generic contractor. The good version will do the exact same page, but at the end of every single tip, it says something like, this is the most common issue our crews see in Etobicoke homes built between 1995 and 2010, and here's how we typically fix it. Now, when the AI pulls that section, your business is baked into the answer. Look, you're not writing an essay for fun. You're writing a page to attract leads. So make the bridge between the problem and your solution explicit. Every section. Finally, rule number 7, embed schema markup on every page. And a quick, clean English explanation of that is schema markup is a small bit of code. It sits in the background of your page. You can't see it. Your visitors can't see it, but search engines and AI models can, and it tells them exactly what's on the page. It's the difference between handing someone a textbook and then handing them a textbook with a table of contents and an index. Same content, but way easier to navigate. For service businesses, the ones that matter most are local business schema, service schema, and FAQ page schema. If you've got an FAQ section, and you should, that was rule number 4, wrap it in FAQ page schema. If you've got a services page, wrap each service in service schema. Now look, I'm not going to teach you to code schema in this video. Heck, I don't even know how to do it. And that's a full tutorial on its own. But if you're on WordPress, plugins like Rank Math or Yoast handle most of it automatically. And if you're on a custom site, your developer can add it in about an hour. But if you need a developer to help you, that's where you can contact me and I can get one of my developers to do it. Either way, just get it done, because most of your competitors haven't bothered with schema, which means doing it gives you a real edge for almost no cost. Okay, so here's the thing that I promised at the beginning, the one thing that completely changed how we write every page now. So AI models don't pull your whole page at once. They grab a few paragraphs, sometimes a sentence, sometimes a single bullet point. But here's the kicker. You have no idea which paragraphs they're going to grab, so you don't get to choose. You don't get to say, please pull paragraph 6 because that's my best one. It's a black box. So that means every single section of your page has to hold up on its own. Every header, every bullet, every paragraph, every Q&A, every one of them needs to be a self-contained citation-worthy chunk. And that's the mindset shift. You're not writing one page anymore. You're writing 15 mini pages all glued together. Each one needs to answer the question. Each one needs to be specific, and each one needs to connect back to what you sell. That's how you get cited. That's what I do here at Numero Uno. That's what we do here when we write content for our clients. That's why we make sure that our content, whether it's a blog post or a services page or a products page or it's about us page or the FAQ page, has everything intertwined, so that way if and when AI pulls a section, it gets cited because that chunk stands on its own. Okay, so a quick recap of the 7 rules to write a page AI engines will actually cite. Niche down, specific topic, specific audience. Put the answer in the first sentence. Add structure, headers, bullets, tables. Every section stands alone. Add an FAQ section with real customer questions. Include original insights and data. Connect every point to your service. And embed schema markup. And look, the underlying principle, write so that any chunk of your page pulled out completely on its own still answers the question and still points back to you. This is what I want you to do. I want you to pick one page on your website this week. Okay, just one, doesn't matter which one. And I want you to run it through these 7 rules. You'll probably see in about 10 minutes what exactly needs to change. And look, as I said before, if you got value from this, please hit subscribe. I'm putting out one of these every week, and drop a comment. What's the first page on your site that you're going to rewrite? I read every comment, by the way. And if you're a local service business and you don't know how to get started getting found online, especially on the Google Map Pack, then I want you to head over here now, and I want you to check out this video. I'm going to see you there.